Humans have always been social beings. Back in the old days, sticking together wasn't just for fun, it was for survival. Being part of a group meant protection from wild animals, better chances of finding food, and just an overall easier way to live. Fast forward to today, and while we don't need a tribe to survive, our need for connection is still there. But here's the thing, there's a big difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Loneliness is that feeling of being disconnected, even when you are surrounded by people. It's when you want connection but don't feel like you have it. Solitude, on the other hand, is just being alone, but in a way, it feels peaceful and fulfilling. It's a choice, not a struggle. Think about it. You are at a loud party surrounded by people, but you feel totally out of place. That's loneliness. Now picture yourself at a cozy cafe, sipping coffee, lost in a book, and completely at peace. That's solitude. A study from the University of Reading found that people who choose to spend time alone often feel more confident and less lonely. Even though solitude has its perk, society often make it seems like being alone is bad. Western culture tends to favor extroversion, making solitude seem strange or undesirable. But solitude is actually a powerful tool for creativity, deep thinking, and emotional well being. And that's why so many people feel pressured to socialize, even when they don't want to. Think about it, eating alone at a restaurant, people assume you have no friends. Skipping a party to stay home, someone might call you a loner. A teenager might go to a party they have zero interest in just to avoid being called antisocial. An adult might keep making weekend plans even when they are exhausted just to seem fun and outgoing. But then here is the irony. Forcing yourself into social situation just because you feel like you should can actually make you feel more lonely. Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the psychologist, puts it this way: some of the most meaningful and creative moments in life happen when we are alone with our thoughts. Solitude gives us mental space to reflect, process, and grow. So instead of avoiding alone time, maybe we should see it as something valuable. Another reason people resist solitude, it forces them to sit with their thoughts, and that's not always comfortable. Dr. Sherry Turkle, an MIT professor and author of Reclaiming Conversation, explains we turn to our devices not just for connection but for a way to avoid being alone with our thoughts. The fear of solitude often stems from the fear of self-reflection. Basically, people avoid being alone because it makes them think sometimes about stuff they would rather ignore. When you are alone, your mind slows down and the things that you have been putting aside start bubbling up. That nagging feeling that your job isn't making you happy, old grudges or unresolved conflict you haven't fully let go of, insecurities and self doubt that creep in when there's no noise to drown them out. And to escape those thoughts, people turn to distraction, endless scrolling on social media, binge watching shows, or packing their schedule to stay busy. And sure, those things provide quick relief, but then they also stop you from understanding yourself and growing. But here's the thing, avoiding discomfort doesn't make it go away. If anything, it just makes it harder to deal with later. A study from the University of Virginia, led by Dr. Timothy Wilson, found that most people would rather experience mild electric shocks than sit alone with their thoughts for even a few minutes. Wilson explains when left alone with themselves, people often experience restlessness, discomfort, and even distress. Our minds are wired for stimulation, and when that's removed, it can be unsettling. So maybe solitude is not the problem, it's just the people are not used to it. And what if instead of fearing alone time, we start seeing it as an opportunity? If you are not used to being alone, it can feel weird at first, But then the more you practice it, the more you realize it's actually pretty great. Here's how you can start enjoying solitude. Number one, journaling. Write down your thoughts. Even if they are messy, it helps clear your mind and give you new insight. Number two, mindful activities. Try meditation, painting, or just taking a quiet walk in nature. It's surprisingly refreshing. Number three, scheduled me time. Set aside time for just yourself, whether it's a quiet evening or a solo weekend trip. Number four, unplugging from distractions. Put your phone down for a bit and just be. You might be surprised at how good it feels. And the best part, the more comfortable you get with solitude, the more confident, creative, emotionally balanced you become. We all need connection, but that doesn't mean we need to be around people all the time to be happy. Learning to enjoy solitude can help us recharge, think clearly, and feel more control of our lives. So, next time when you are alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Take a deep breath and enjoy the moment. You will find out that being alone is one of the best way to reconnect with yourself.